The Modern Classroom Project is an educational approach that explores personalized learning and technology to boost student engagement. The three main components include blended learning, which allows students to review lessons in small chunks using technology, self-paced learning, which allows students to move at a pace that best meets their needs. If they are comfortable with the topic, they can move faster. If they need more supports, they can slow down. Finally, mastery-based learning, which allows students to progress when they have shown they understand the topic and reduce gaps that may come up in future lessons.
I chose to do Modern Classroom because I think that it really helps students set the pace and set the ability that they can do to differentiate their learning and advocate for their own learning. So just being able to think about how much do I want to learn, how am I going to engage in what I'm learning, and then how far can I push myself. The biggest things that I've had to change are how I present learning. So being able to think about how each piece of the things that I'm teaching, how it can be differentiated and how it can be laid out in a way that makes sense to work on your own at that self-pace, but also providing them enough scaffolding and enough opportunities to kind of push themselves beyond and meet up where they need to be. So deepen their understanding, but also make it so that they can do it on their own. So I really imagine a world and a learner community where students are engaged and pushing themselves. The students get to self-pace through each of their assignments and through each of their lessons, and it's really important that they can do it at their own pace because it really sets up this advocacy and this differentiated learning for them. So if they need to rewatch videos and rewatch pieces of videos, they can get subtitles if they need them, and it really allows them to deepen their understanding to what they need. So if they want to keep exploring and go further in their learning, then they can go into a should do or an aspire to do. But if they really just want to stick with where we're at in our learning, then they can stay with the must do's and work through it at their own pace. Ultimately, the goal for all students is to reach mastery, and through the self-paced learning, they are able to reach mastery in new ways because they can move through the lessons at their own pace. So if they need to reteach or relearn, they can go back and look at those lessons.
The mastery checks, we've implemented that across the board with all of the classes. Fundamental shift. I can't speak more highly about the idea of using mastery-based learning. The progress that I have seen students make, the change in their attitude about education and their own ability to succeed, it's just crazy. It's mind-blowing. You really got to feel out the needs of the kids in the room, what's going to work, does it make sense for this particular unit. You try the assignment, you're confused, well, guess what? You can still go back. You know, there's no part of it where you're like, well, you're lost, sorry. Oh, you missed today. And that's something that I've felt has always been a struggle. It's always something you feel a lot of guilt about. You don't have that anymore because it's there. And the way that we have set it up is 80% is considered mastery. It's a B. If you get an 80% and you want to try for more, great, please do. But if you don't get 80%, it's not, oh, you didn't understand the content, you failed the test, now we're moving on without you. It's now what do we do? It's a solutions-based approach rather than just saying, oh well, that was your shot. So we do a lot of one-on-one, we do a lot of small group, we do a lot of pair work, we have people come to Eagle Time. And so sometimes the second attempt will be like a different format. Sometimes it's the same format, you just have some tutoring or we review your notes with you before you give it a second go. I can't think of a single person that we have had reattempt a mastery check who has failed or has ended up with anything less than like a 90% the second go around. I imagine it's a fundamental shift. There's not a culture of like fear of failure. There's not a culture of, I don't get this, so I'm just going to curl into myself. It's getting things wrong is okay. We can try again. It's honestly kind of beautiful.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.